Welcome back, guys. In this video tutorial we will going to discuss our chapter number 2 of science, that is matter around us is pure or impure. Fine. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Arun Thakur and I wish you a very warm welcome to all of you. Fine. So let's start this chapter without any delay. This is for class 9th, chapter number 2. I already have made the videos for chapter number 1, that is matter around us. Fine. Sorry, matter in our surroundings. In that chapter I have told you that what is matter. Anything that occupies space and have mass is said to be matter. Example: gold, insects, ocean, turmeric, etc. All these are example of matter. Now, here the matter is classified on the basis of physical state, basically into the three main categories. They are solid, liquid and gas. I even discuss their different properties with you. On the basis, these are physical states. Fine. On the basis of chemical states, they are basically divided into two parts. The first one is pure, second one is mixtures, or we should say impure. This another name for the mixture is impure. Fine. I think this much is clear to you. What happens here? The pure substances are further divided into two parts, that is elements and the compounds, whereas mixture is further divided into homogeneous and heterogeneous. Maybe you think, what are these terms? I will make you aware with these terms in upcoming slides. Fine. I think this much is clear to you. Now let's study about pure substances. Pure substances is anyone which is made up of only one kind of a particle. Fine. It is a pure substance. Pure doesn't mean that it is pure. In general way we say that whether are you pure minded means you speak truth, but in scientific way the pure substance is said to be that which is made up of only a particular kind of particle. For example, platinum. Here there is example of platinum. Platinum is made up of only its compound. Fine. Not of any other. Neither in platinum there is iron or cobalt is mixed. Fine. Here the pure substances are basically further divided into two elements and compounds. Then mixtures. What are the mixtures? Mixture is the substance which consists of two or more elements or compounds, and they are chemically compound. For example, just take the example of salt and water. Fine. Mixture are again divided into two parts, homogeneous and heterogeneous. Here there is most important difference between the pure substance and the mixtures. Fine. Just see here. Here the pure substances consist of only a single type, whereas mixture consists of two or more pure substances. Pure substance cannot be separated into other substances by physical methods, but whereas mixture can be separated by the physical method even. Pure substances have its own definite properties, whereas mixture show the properties of its components, of its different components. As we know that these are mixture are further divided into two parts, that is homogeneous and heterogeneous. Now let's study what are homogeneous. Homogeneous are those mixture in which the substance are completely mixed together and particles are not distributed uniformly. Example, the solution of sugar and water. What happens? Just whenever you take the solution of just sugar and water, let me take a beaker first. This is my beaker, and here I will add water. Fine. This is the water, and I will add some sugar in it. After some time, after stirring some time, it might be go somewhere. It doesn't go, just it converts into a simpler form, and it hide between the spaces between the water. So this solution are said to be the homogeneous, which can be dissolved properly, means there is nothing left. That no if you doesn't taste that this water, you can't even tell that sugar is mixed in it or not. Fine. Now what do you think what our solution is? Solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. It is basically made up of the two parts, one is solute and another one is solvent. So what is solute? Substance in lesser quantity in the solution. And what is solvent? Substance in larger quantity in a solution. Now solution of the sugar, water. Okay, now tell me what is solute and which is solvent. Tell me whether sugar is solute or water is solute, or sugar is solvent or water is solvent. Yes, just put the comment below. Fine, I won't answer. Well, I will tell you that here sugar is our solute. Because why? Because it is in lesser quantity. Fine, it is in lesser quantity. Water is our solvent because it is in larger quantity. Fine. Now heterogeneous mixtures. Basically heterogeneous mixture are those mixture in which substance remains separated and particles are uniformly distributed. For example, milk and salt. Even you can take the example of soil or mud or water. Just whenever, just take a beaker and put water in it, and also put soil in it. Just see, you can stir a lot, but it doesn't get mixed properly. We can see its particle, just they get means settled down at the bottom. Fine. There are basically different type of the mixture. Basically there are three types. And what are these types? These types are said to be true solution, suspension, and colloids solutions. We differ this mixture on the basis of their properties, and we will thoroughly read its properties. The first one is true solution. True solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. Fine. It is a solution which having the solvent and solute as its component. The component is larger amount in the solvent and the component is less in a solute. About properties of the true solution. True solution is a homogeneous mixture. The particles cannot be seen by naked eye. The solute particles cannot be separated by the filtration. What do you mean by the term filtration? Filtration is a process in which we separate two or more things from a single thing. Fine. Here, the solute particles does not settle down and the solution is stable. The particles do not scatter a beam of light. Scatter means they does not seen away. They are too much properly mixed that we can't even scatter them. Passing through its path of light is not visible in solution. Fine. Now let's study the colloidal solution. A colloidal solution is again a heterogeneous mixture of two or more substances. Mixture of starch in water, mixture of egg, even albumin in water, milk, air containing dust and smoke, etc. All these are example of only colloidal solution. Now how is properties of colloidal solution. Colloidal solution is a heterogeneous solution. The particle cannot be seen with the naked eye. The solute particles cannot be separated by the filtration. The solute particles does not scatter down and the solution is stable. The particles scatter a beam of light passing through it, and it's why? Because the light is visible in the solution. Now let's study about the suspension. A suspension is a heterogeneous mixture of two or more substances. Here the example are given: solution of sand in water, solution of chalk powder, means which does not mix well with each other. Suspension is the heterogeneous in mixture. It's the particles can be seen with the naked eye because that's not microscopic, just like in true solution we can't even see the particles with our naked eye. We need a very very powerful microscope, right? But here we can even see it with the naked eye. Whereas in colloidal, what happens in colloidal, we can see by the simple microscope. Even the solute particles settle down. As we know that they are larger in size, so obviously they will settle down due to the gravity. Means the solution is unstable, the particles obviously it will scatter because it is larger in amount. Fine, this is the certain examples. Now let's study the Tyndall effect. When a beam of light passes through a colloidal solution, the colloidal particles scatter the beam of light. For example, you might have seen then during the summer, the sun rays come towards your from your window when the room is little dark, right? These are the rays which are coming here. They can scatter the each particles. Fine, they can scatter the each particles. Now saturated solution. What is saturated solution? It is a solution in which what happens, in which any more solute cannot be separated at a particular temperature, at a given temperature. What is solubility? Solubility of a solution is actually solubility of a substance is the amount of solute which is present in the saturated solution. What is unsaturated? Unsaturated solution is a solution in which we can add more solute, right? There is one more term, that is supersaturated. In supersaturated, what happens? In this supersaturated, we just increase its temperature, right? We increase the temperature of this supersaturated solution of we increase the temperature of this saturated solution in order to make it supersaturated. Here we can add more solute as compared to saturated. Fine. Now let's study the concentration of the solution. The concentration of a solution is amount of solute present in a given amount of the solvent or solution. Now concentration of the solution, actually the amount of solute divided by amount of solvent, or the amount of solute divided by amount of solution. Fine. Now let's study the concentration of the solution can be expressed by the mass by mass. Right, this is the first condition, mass by volume or volume by volume. Fine, if we find out the mass, then in the above mass of the solute, in at the down it is mass of the solution, and we have to multiply it by 100 in order to form the percentage. Fine, again in the volume, same, mass by volume, mass is above, volume is at down. Fine. Now separating the component of a mixture. The component of a heterogeneous mixture can be separated by a simple method like hand picking, sieving, filtration, etc. But sometimes how can we separate the different type of the solutions on their categories? So these are the different processes which we will further study. Fine. First one is evaporation, centrifugation, distillation using a separating funnel, even the sublimation, centrifugation, chromatic acid, distillation and fractional distillation, right? And even the electrolysis. Now let's start with it. First term is evaporation. What happens in the evaporation? This is a method basically used to separate a volatile component solvent from the non-volatile solute by heating a mixture. For example, here the example is given that we have to just take the solution of salt and water, and we have to continue to boil it, right, till all the water get evaporated. So by this process we can separate the salt from water, because as we will just boil it, the water will get evaporated and the salt will remain at here only. Fine, its particle will here. Now what is you mean by the term centrifugation? Centrifugation is a method of separating the denser particles and lighter from the mixture by using a centrifugal machine. That is what we call the centrifugation. It's a work on the principle that when this machine is used, what it happens, it just separate, obviously, if for example we separate the milk from the cream, right? What I'm saying, I should say that in some milk in the centrifugal is used to spin rapidly so that cream separate from the milk. Fine, we separate from there. So what happens in denser milk, as we know that lighter things always float and denser fluids always shrinks down. Fine, so in the same case it will just we will rotate it completely and the milk will at the above and the cream will settle down. In the same case of the butter it is. Now decantation using a separating funnel. This is the method which is used to separating the mixture of immiscible liquids. The liquids separate the two different layers by depending upon their densities. Two immiscible liquids is said to be what? When two of the liquids does not mix with each other properly. For example, they have given the example of kerosene and water. Just see it carefully. Here there is kerosene. Obviously, as we know that oil is lighter as compared to water, so it will float above and water will down. So this is used to in use such cases. So what will be happen, this is the actually the shape of separating funnel. We have just open it till the water will come, and after that we stop it by using this, right? So by this we can separate it. Now let's study. Now first of all, in the comment section I want to ask you, well, you have to reply me that what do you mean by the term sublimation. Sublimation is a process, just comment me, I am just telling you. Sublimation is a process in which this any state means from the solid state it will change into gaseous state, right? That is what we call the sublimation. So it is also a separating method. Basically this is a method which is used to separate a mixture of sublimable component from the non-sublimable component by heating the mixtures. Fine. If a mixture of the ammonium chloride and the common salt is heated, the ammonium chloride sublimizes and can left be closed and solidified and collected the salt and left behind. Fine. Now chromatography. Chromatography is basically used to separate the colors, or to say yes, colors, or to say from the dye, from the we can also separate the color of flowers. Fine. So this is the method which is used for separating the colored component from the liquid by using the filter or blotting paper. Maybe in your lab there will be the filter paper. So for this, what we have to do, we have to take a filter paper and we have to put a dot of dye in it, and then take a beaker of water. So this is our water. Just leave it for some time. After some time you will see what you will see. You will see that the ink will be spread into different two or more color components. The component which is more soluble in water, that will be rises faster and gets separated quickly. Now what is distillation? Distillation is a method in which we can separate the mixture from the miscible liquid by boiling, mixing and cooling, condenses and vaporizing. Fine. Means this is useful for the miscible substances. Fine. I think this much is clear to you. Basically what happens in it is used to separating the mixture of two miscible liquids having the sufficient difference in their boiling points. Here the example is given that we can separate the acetone and water by using the process of distillation. Fine. So this is basic diagram of the distillation. Just see it carefully. Fractional distillation is used for separating a mixture of two more miscible substances whose boiling difference is less than 25 K. Here, in this simple distillation, what happens? The temperature can be above than 25 K. But what about if it is low? Then we prefer the fractionation distillation, right? What happened? The apparatus. Why we here say the fraction? Because here basically we make the use of this fractionating column, this, right? We make the use of it. This, it is used to increase the more surface area for the condenser, right? For vapor to condense, right? Fractional distillation is used for separating components of the petroleum, separating of different gas, air, etc. So this is the total structure of the fractionated distillation, where it is the burner, it is a flame, it is just our flask. Here this is our cork. Why we use cork? Why not? In your NCERT book it is given that even in the sublimation that we can use the cotton, but no, we shouldn't use it. Why? Because it may react with it, right? Then separation of the component of the air. Air is a mixture of the gases. The component of the air can be separated by a fractionality distillation. Air is compressed by increasing the pressure and cooled by decreasing the temperature to get liquid, right? The liquid is then allowed to warm slowly in the fractionating column. Then the different components, mean this is all the techniques by which we can separate this air, right? Then purification of solid by crystallization. Crystallization is the process of obtaining the pure solids in the form of crystals from the solution. By crystallization we can obtain pure copper sulfate from its solution. So what happens, as we know how we use the crystallization. So for this we have to dissolve about the 5 gram of the copper sulfate in minimum amount of the water, right? Filter the solution to move the impurities, right? Evaporate the solution in a china dish to get saturated solution. Cover the solution with filter paper and allow it to cool. Pure copper sulfate crystals are formed. That is what. Here let me make you aware with the basically in chemistry there are two type of the changes. The first one is physical change and another one is chemical change. It is the type of change in which formation of state happens only, no new substances formed. That is what we call the physical. Here the example, melting of the ice. Now the next example is about the chemical change. It is a change in which new substance is made up, and it is a type of change in which the chemical properties of the substance is changed, right? For example, cooking is the biggest example. Now type of pure substances, basically I already have told you this, that elements and compounds are basic two parts of the pure substances. Now let me see their properties. Elements on the basis of their form of the matter which cannot be broken down into simpler substances by chemical reaction. Elements are of three types. What are they? Metals, non-metals, and metalloids. All these are differ from each other. Let's study the properties of the metal. Metal are malleable, ductile, they are good conductor of the heat and electricity, they are sounders, iron, aluminium, zinc, mercury, copper, etc. All are the example of this metal. What about the properties of the metal? Non-metal do not have lustrous, means they are not shiny, they are non-malleable, they are non-ductile, they are the poor conductor of the electricity, they are non-sunrest. Here the example is given: hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, iodine, carbon, sulfur and phosphorus. All these are non-metal. Actually, there is one conceptual thing that maximum of us think that diamond is a metal, but in actual that is not metal, that is non-metal. Fine. Then properties of the metalloids are the element which show some properties of the metal and some properties of the non-metal. Example: boron, silicon, right? Means we can say that metalloids are the mixture of elements and metal and non-metals, right? Now compound are a substance which are of basically made up of two or more elements which are chemically combined together. Now there is lots of confusion between the mixture and compound. Now I will just differ it. Mixture is composed of two or more element, or a compound in the mixture together, it is composed of two or more element chemically bounded. Fine. If we say that which one of the easy to separate, obviously mixtures, because they are not chemically bounded, right? The composition of the components in any ratio, we can take any amount of the solution, any amount of the sugar, right? And here we can take only the fixed ratio. For example, in order to form H2O, we have to take hydrogen 2 and even oxygen 1. Fine. This shows the properties of the component. This shows the different properties of the component, means this shows the properties of the components even, and it also shows the properties of the component, but other than also it. The component can be separated by the physical method, but it is so difficult, so we could say that we can separate it by the chemical method. So with this I finished my chapter. So thanks a lot for be a patient listener. Guys, please do like, share and subscribe my channel, and also for any query please comment below. Fine. So thanks a lot. Thank you.